It's a tale of the Vietnam infantryman, the point man and his gunner, who faced the impossible task of navigating an invisible enemy's territory, where every step could trigger an ambush and survival depended entirely on the man beside you. What unfolds will reveal the unbearable psychological tension of being the patrol's tripwire, showcase the split-second, life-saving violence required to answer an ambush, and deliver a deeper lesson on how the most profound trust is forged in the crucible of shared mortal danger. Before we begin this journey together, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this story with someone who values the meaning of unwavering trust and partnership, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. 1968. The Point Man, PFC James Jimmy Rourke, moves not as a soldier, but as an extension of the forest itself. His eyes ignore the obvious path, instead tracking the disturbed moss on a fallen log, the unnatural angle of a broken fern. His ears are tuned not to the bird song, but to the void where it has just ceased, a silence more deafening than any gunshot. Every sense is a tripwire stretched taut for an invisible enemy. Yet his focus is a fragile thing, perpetually split between the hidden death ahead and the exposed, vulnerable flesh of his own back. He is the unit's spearhead and its most likely first casualty. Now hold on the man in his shadow. 3 meters behind, the muzzle of an M60 machine gun sweeps a slow, predatory arc through the dripping greenery. The gunner, Specialist Carl Mule Henderson, carries the 23-pound pig and its belts of ammunition, but his true burden is the weight of absolute trust. He is not a hunter of signs, but a student of sudden, violent geometry. While Jimmy deciphers the forest's intent, Mule calculates intersecting fields of fire, his mind a map of kill zones. His sole purpose is to transform the first crack of an ambush into an instantaneous, overwhelming storm of lead, a wall of fire meant to cut the attack in half and buy Jimmy that one vital second to live. This is not mere tactics, it is warfare's most intimate and high-stakes covenant. Their dialogue is a glance, a shifted boot, a shared, held breath. Their bond is forged in a brutal transaction. With every step, the point man sells a piece of the unknown. The gunner must buy it back with controlled fury. This is the story of that lethal dance, the scout and the storm, and the unbreakable bond that decided who walked out of the green inferno and who did not. This partnership was not a standard file order in a manual. It was a symbiotic survival unit, a single organism with 2 specialized halves. The point man functioned as the patrol's primary sensor array and decision-making node. He did not merely walk, he interpreted the jungle's mood, a shift in insect hum, a faint scent of wood smoke where none should be, a pattern of broken spider webs at knee height. Survival of the entire element depended on his survival. If he fell, the patrol was blind, shocked, and vulnerable in the enemy's kill zone. 3 paces behind him, the gunner was the unit's dedicated reactive force, the kinetic answer to the point man's silent discovery. Theirs was a relationship of absolute and brutal dependency. The point man's preternatural vigilance gifted the gunner the precious half-second of warning he needed to bring his weapon to bear. In return, the gunner's immediate and overwhelming firepower gifted the point man the confidence to take the next step into the unknown. This dynamic was encapsulated in the grunt's concept of selling space. With every agonizingly slow step forward, the point man moved into unbought, enemy-controlled territory, selling his own safety for the patrol's progress. The gunner's sole purpose was to immediately buy that space back with a sweeping, dominant field of fire, creating a fragile, moving bubble of temporary safety behind the advancing scout. The point man's existence was a testament to hyper-acute sensory skill and profound psychological endurance. His senses learned to read the jungle's fine print. He understood the knock, the different deadfall tension of a booby-trapped vine against his boot. He could spot a pungy pit, not by the camouflaged cover, but by the microscopic discoloration of the soil around it. His most vital skill was interpreting absence. A sudden, clean silence from the canopy birds meant an ambush was likely set 100 meters ahead. The psychological load was crushing. He lived with the walker's funk, a near-paralyzing dread that sat in the stomach with every step, knowing he was the designated tripwire for disaster. His supreme discipline was managing this personal terror so the contagion of hesitation didn't freeze the entire patrol behind him. His tools reflected his role. He often favored a sawed-off shotgun or an M16 with a collapsible stock for close-quarters reactivity. His movement was the grunt's shuffle, a slow, rolling step that placed the full weight of his boot only after testing the ground, minimizing noise and maximizing stability for a snapshot. His communication was a silent language of gesture, a raised fist to freeze the column, a pointed finger directing attention to a suspect clump of bamboo, a slow sink to one knee that signaled imminent danger.
The gunner, in turn, was the guardian, and his identity was fused with his weapon. The M60 Pig was not a tool, but a temperamental partner. Its rituals defined him: the quick change of a glowing barrel, the careful feeding of the linked belt to prevent a jam, the constant, obsessive cleaning to ensure it roared when called. He carried the psychological weight of its destructive power. Knowing its distinctive sound made him a bullet magnet, drawing the enemy's heaviest fire. His world was one of violent geometry, not biology. While the point man looked for signs of life, the gunner scanned for likely ambush sites, the unusually dense thicket perfect for a machine gun nest. His focus was lateral, covering the 10 and 2 o'clock flanks the point man's forward gaze could not. His greatest burden was the discipline of response. He had to possess the ice-cold restraint to hold fire until an ambush was fully sprung, avoiding cutting down his own point man, followed by the instantaneous volcanic reaction to lay down a base of fire. This wasn't spray and pray. It was the accurate, terrifying hosing of an area with tracer-led fury, meant to shock the enemy, disorganize their kill zone, and allow the patrol to maneuver or retrieve a downed scout. The ultimate test was the explosive chaos of contact front. For the point man, it was a sensory overload, the deafening, overlapping cracks of AK-47s, the sickening snap of rounds passing inches away, the pure instinct to dive into any depression, his world shrinking to the dirt in front of his face. For the gunner, it was a moment of brutal clarity, his eyes ripped from his partner to the source of the muzzle flashes. Muscle memory took over, the shoulder of the stock, the acquisition of a target lane. Then the roaring, shuddering response of the M60 as he walked the red tracers through the enemy position, the sound alone a physical force. This partnership found its truth in moments like one in the Ashau Valley, 1969, where Pointman Rodriguez triggered a command-detonated mine. Wounded and exposed, before the waiting VC could finish him, Gunner Esteban had already pinpointed the bunker. His M60 fire cut down 3 enemy fighters and suppressed the position, buying the precious seconds for the squad to drag Rodriguez to safety and launch a counter-assault. In the aftermath came the quiet rituals that deepened the bond, the shared, wordless glance that carried a universe of relief, the gunner's quick, hands-on check of his point man for wounds, the unspoken, mutual reset as they prepared, once again, to move.